Are you thinking about moving to Virginia Beach or Hampton Roads and you're not quite sure where to start? Well, today we're talking about all the things that I think will be best for you to know and to keep in mind as early as possible to prepare for your move to Virginia Beach and Hampton Roads. And we're starting right now. Hey, my name is Sam Sansalon and I'm a real estate agent in Hampton Roads, Virginia. And if it's your first time here, welcome. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification next to it. I'll notify you every time I do a video about real estate in Hampton Roads. And today we're talking about how to prepare to move to Virginia Beach or Hampton Roads. Well, I've been talking to a lot of people recently about moving here, people that have contacted me from these videos. Thank you so much. Well, I've noticed that there are a lot of things that commonly come up in conversations that I have with people. Well, I thought I'd take a lot of the information and compile it into a basic plan, a structure to help you in your planning stages as early as you're thinking about moving here to the time that you actually come here, so you can use this as a reference guide to make your plans. There are a lot of people that contact me that are anywhere from 6 months to a year-ish away from moving here, and they're finding me and they're trying to figure out like what the best starting point is for research. And so the first thing that I always recommend is to ask yourself this question: why are you moving? Like, what is the reason? Now, so that could be for many reasons, but people have different reasons. It could be that you're getting stationed here in the military and you're PCSing, or it could be because of your job. It could be because of school districts. You want to bring your kids to a certain school district. It could be because that you're wanting to retire and you're thinking that this might be a great place to settle. For whatever the reason is, ask yourself that question and make sure you know why you're coming, because it would influence what I would suggest you do and how you research. And once you've got that number one nailed down, number two is ask yourself, how long do you plan on living in Virginia Beach or Hampton Roads? People that plan on being stationed here for a short time, and maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe the job keeps you here indefinitely. Knowing that really influences also where I would suggest you might want to move to, the types of neighborhoods that I would suggest looking into, and also in determining on if you should buy or rent, because if you're here in like a 1 or 2 year time period, renting might make a lot more sense than buying, unless you're getting a specific type of property that gives you a lot more equity. I can go more into detail about that, the nuances of when is a good opportunity to buy with equity and not, but that's a whole other conversation we can talk about later. But just know that the longer you stay here, plan on staying here, the better it might be to find a place that you might be looking for long term. It might be better for you to buy instead of rent, but it just depends on the situation. It's like if you're planning to stay here for a short period of time, but you want to keep a house here forever and rent it out and keep it as a portfolio piece in your life. Well, that might change also where I'd recommend you buy and where I'd recommend you research. Just knowing how much time that you're planning to stay here does make a difference in terms of what I'd recommend you do for renting or buying, or where you buy, where you rent, all that kind of stuff. So then ask yourself, what's my budget? And so the budget might change based on your standard of living and what your income is going to be, and some of that stuff you don't know, but keep in your mind based on the possibilities of what might be when you come here. Think about what you're able to afford currently, and if that type of income you have changes, how much that would change your budget. You don't need to have anything definite, just a matter of just an idea in your mind of a flex number. So once you determine what your budget is, how long you're going to be staying here, and when you're coming and why, get qualified with a local lender. Now, qualification, if it's really early in the process, it might not necessarily need to be as detailed, but what I would do is start a conversation with a local lender, and I can help you with that. It's something that would be helpful for you to know if the budget that you've got is realistic to what is available. So for instance, if you often, people enter in their budget on their mortgage calculators, and you can pop out a price range of what you're looking for in terms of buying a house. Sometimes those mortgage calculators don't really include a lot of the things that you need. I suggest talking to a lender, because they can tell you exactly what is the best strategy for you and also what is a realistic payment for a price range. That's why I like talking about the budget early, so you can base your next decisions off of actual properties, actual neighborhoods, actual regions. Interest rates and payments can change, and the way you structure a loan can influence how much your payment's going to be for the same price house as another one. And talking to a lender is really pretty easy. I mean, it's only a few minutes, and if it's way early in the process, you're 6 months to a year, you can tell them, hey, if you want to get your credit pulled, that's fine. But if you don't, or if you already know the general idea of what your credit is, that might be enough to get you started. And so you want to tell them your full financial situation, tell them what your plans are, so then that lender can give you a strategy between the time you call and the time that you move here, so you know exactly what to do, what not to do, so you can maximize the decisions and the types of properties that you're looking for once you get here. And what I would suggest doing before you even come here for the first time is following Facebook pages or local pages of newspapers, like the Virginia Pilot is our local newspaper, or other local news stations. What that does is it just gives you an added element of what life is like here and the types of news that pops up here. And so then when you get here, you can put some more context to different areas when you have said, oh, I heard about the thing that happened over off of Military Highway, oh, okay. Or, like that kind of stuff. And you can hear about events that are coming up, and you can see the type of atmosphere that is here and things you could be doing. So I think that's something that most people don't think about, but I think is really helpful, because those types of pages, Virginia Pilot, for instance, and these news stations, they're updated and they post stories every day. So you can get a real nice feel pretty quickly as to what kind of things are going on. So another couple places I would recommend looking up is also TripAdvisor and Yelp, because those really give you good reviews of things to do and restaurants to go to. If you don't like any of the restaurants that I recommend, then you can go to Yelp and see what other people are saying. And if you're looking for a specific school district or city school districts, start following their Facebook pages and look at their websites. And I'm dropping a lot of those types of links down below in the description. Anything like that gives you points of reference as early as possible is real helpful. And another thing I'd start researching is the cost of living compared to your area where you live and here. I'll drop a link just to give you a calculator, a general calculator as to what the salaries here are in proportion to where you are living currently. But then in that calculator, you'll see a lot of the line items, like how much does bread cost here compared to where you are, or lots of food items and healthcare, that kind of stuff. And I'll drop that link below in the description also. And if you like sports, like I like sports, if I were moving to a different area, I would start researching the sports and what's around as early as possible, because I'd like to start following what they're doing. And Old Dominion football, we just had a new stadium built in Norfolk for the school, as well as hockey. We have a minor league hockey team, the Norfolk Admirals. And another thing I would do too is go onto Google Maps, and start researching the traffic times for the important periods that you'll be on the road, or you think you might be on the road. If you're working at a certain spot and you want to move to an area, you can put on Google Maps, you can track the traffic time period, the length of time it takes to get from one place to another, and you can do it based on time period. So if you're going from place to place at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you can go on Google and set the traffic map and say, okay, if I'm leaving at 4 o'clock, how long does it take me? What's the expected length of time? And there'll be an entry on the bottom of the screen that shows you the estimated time it usually takes for that time at a specific day. It's not exact, but at least it gives you an idea of what the average travel times are. So a lot of these things you can do on your own time whenever you'd like to, and you'll get some good perspective of the area and the type of area that it is before you contact me or however you plan on moving and transitioning here. Now it's time to plan a preliminary visit. And if you haven't been here before, that is even more important, as early as possible to come here, just even if it's a couple days or a day or 3 days, whatever. And then I can give you some neighborhoods and places to go look to. I can give you some options for hotels and Airbnbs if you want to, or places, regions to target to maximize your research time, and so you're not spending your time driving from one place to another too far and wasting a lot of time that you could be doing researching. We can also block out a time to go see some houses. I've often found that when people look on Zillow, on Trulia, or Redfin, wherever, and they see houses that they like, often the ones that they like the most in pictures end up not being the ones that they like when they get here. Context is key. So I can then take what we talk about on the phone the first time, and I can build up a profile of what you like, don't like, and I can say, you want to be within this drive over this place, I suggest these other places too to look at. You can see and get a perspective of the areas that are most important and most relevant to you. And we can go see some houses while you're here also, if that is most helpful. And you can get some context of the types of houses there are, what kind of construction there is, all that kind of fun stuff. And so then when you leave, you've got a good database of the types of areas that you like. You know the price ranges of the types of houses that you like. And then you know the types of styles of houses and the neighborhoods, what they feel like. All this stuff's important. It gives you an idea when you go back home to figure out really what the areas that you're looking for are, and you can really narrow it down, and we can go through that together. I can then even narrow down that profile even more. I can start sending you houses of types of neighborhoods that you like and what you've shown that you've liked and told me about. And then when you're getting closer to the time when you're actually making a purchasing decision, I can go and drive to those houses that might pop up in the neighborhood. I can go take a video, we can FaceTime at the house. You can get an idea of even more to confirm if that's the place that you like or if it's not. We can do that while you're gone, but doing the preliminary research when you're here the first time is really helpful if at all possible. If not, there are still other ways to do it. So I say all that can be done within a very short period of time, or it can be done within a year or more. So then when you go back home, now it's time, like, okay, if you've got a house you've got to sell, well, how much time do you have to do that? So if you give yourself at least 6 months to plan to do that, just so you can make repairs, talk to your agent, figuring out what types of things you need to do to your house. And it takes about 30 to 45 days, generally speaking, to close on a house in a very efficient time period. So if you're planning to move in 6 months to 8 months, start getting the process going to get your house under contract and for sale now. Even though you're not doing it just yet, get it going so you're not feeling rushed when it's time. I can give you as much information as I can that is more nuanced for your specific scenario that I can't really put into a video that covers all the bases, because I love doing the videos for people and it's so much fun, but because there's nuance to every person's life, I can't be as detailed as I'd like to be in the videos because, again, there's only so much you can do in a 10 or 15 minute video. So call me, email me, tell me about the specifics of your situation, and I can get more detailed with you as to what I would suggest to plan and how to make the transition here. And I will see you on the next video.